What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 58 of Unfiltered. I'm your host, ChanManV. Got a lot to talk about today. MLG Anaheim is going to be what we start off with. Going to talk about Destiny's tournament that he's planning. Then we're going to go into some... What? Going to be going...
Oh, nothing. Sorry. I thought it was a joke. It's okay.
No, he's planning a tournament.
No. I've seen the threads. Believe me.
Yeah. We're going to go into...
What did you just say?
Nothing. Don't worry. We'll talk about it in the segment.
Fuck me. Okay, I'm here. What's up?
We're going to talk about World Esports Championship. You were live, dude. And then talk about some Nation Wars, League of Legends news, and Dota 2 news. And then Q&A, of course, as always, with you guys. You can post it here. Let's see. Where is it? Where's that thread? Where's the thread? There's a thread. There's a Reddit thread. You can post your questions in right here.
How do we even know you're going to answer questions there, though, Chan, man? Let's be real.
Dude, I didn't lie today. I didn't lie today. But I want to welcome the crew, the usual crew. We got Destiny, Richard Lewis, Cody Connors. What's going on, fellas?
Go on, Cody. You go first.
Just hanging out. Watched a lot of games this weekend, so I'm excited to talk about that. Decided to get beer with a little bit lower alcohol content in it than last week's. So this show should be fun.
People enjoyed the drunk Cody.
I'm positive they did. I'm sure they did.
And yeah, I've just been watching the World Cup and, being typically European.
How about Italy losing after having somebody get bitten?
I've been enjoying the Suarez biting.
What the hell?
Yeah, well, I it's not really the place for it, but it's the third time he's done it. But
it's
still,
the fourth time.
I'm always amazed at how people react when something like that happens. Like, he didn't even really bite him that much. Like, he was just a little nibble. Like, I played rugby for years. I've had people try and bite my ears off. I got scars on my ears from teeth being embedded in them. And we have a pint with that person afterwards. So yeah, all the people on Twitter who were like, "Oh, think of the children," just come on, guys, get a grip. But yeah, other than that, just living life, man. Clean and sober.
Wow, so you're siding with him on this one?
No, he'll get a ban.
What?
He'll get a ban, and he'll deserve a ban.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, the ban is all we need to worry about, folks. That's it. There's rules in place. People are like calling for him to be publicly crucified. Like, we have to crucify him, then we piss on him, and then we crucify him some more, and then we piss in the wounds. And it's just like, guys, just fucking relax, please.
Did I miss some actual excitement going on in soccer ball? I stopped watching.
Soccer ball? Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually never watched. Sorry.
All right. It's time to stop excluding the nerds here. All right, so let's go.
No, is this a fucking sports show? Numbers are just dipping. Like, I haven't gone for a jog in 5 years, I'll have you know.
Okay.
My neck beard has never looked better.
All right, let's talk MLG Anaheim. So, big event happened this weekend. Steven, you were there, competed in the open bracket, and even took a game off an ST, I saw. Good stuff. Yeah. How was that series?
It was dumb. He's really bad, but I was even worse, so fuck it.
Really
wow, Jesus Christ.
He's so out of shape. I should have won that. That should have been like, that series was either like my breakout performance or an ST's like retirement series. Like, it was supposed to be one of those two things, but instead I lost some fucking retarded. But that's it. I wasn't ready to play. I'm not. My gear up thing is for this WCS thing. I wasn't planning on playing in this thing until literally like 5 or 6 days beforehand, so I wasn't in the right state of mind psychologically,
Okay, good stuff. But lots of things going on with MLG. Obviously, that we had StarCraft, and MLG Anaheim is the event for MLG each and every year. It's always been the biggest event and the coolest one to go to.
Or so they say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you mean back when they actually did events, right?
Yeah. Well, yes. So we had Smash there, we had Call of Duty there, we had StarCraft 2 there, and man, where do we start? Should we start with the good? Let's start with the good. How about that?
There were good players and good casters there. That's the good. The good was that in spite of MLG, we still managed to have like a decent event. No matter how hard they tried to work against it, the final event was actually like, okay.
I mean, yeah, that probably is just the best way to describe it, because, everyone who knows me knows I'm never going to sit in and have a nerdgasm, over StarCraft. I don't really watch it a lot. But I was watching sort of the social media reaction to everything that was happening. And it just seemed like this event was the pits.
We're
Like,
starting.
all
Wait,
the-
wait, 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 wait. We're starting with
Yeah,
the
I know we're
good.
talking about the good.
We're
I know,
talking
but
about the good.
Steven
okay?
just did the good.
No.
He
All
just did the
right,
good. Okay, what
let's,
was the good?
let's give some good to the
Scarlet.
folks watching. So yes, so Scarlet made a cool run. She ended up playing Protoss and winning against DRG in a game. That was pretty crazy and got the.
It's really
crowd
impressive that
excited.
she was able to gather all of the game knowledge and strategy necessary to execute a two-base Protoss all-in. We talk about so much about how much game knowledge and how well versed you have to be in this game to execute a two-base Protoss all-in. Well. Or they're just really
do it
easy
in a
to
competitive
execute, and they
event.
require. No, I'm just kidding. Protoss is a fucking shit race, and two-base all-ins are the fucking cancer. StarCraft 2 right now, and Scarlet proved it. Get fucked, all you Protoss shitters. All right, I'm done saying.
Cody, thoughts on Scarlet? Pulling that out
I
in a
thought it
competitive
was-
event.
I thought it was sick, and I think it takes a lot of courage to do that in the middle of a series. And MLG is one of the few tournaments that you can actually do that in. A lot of tournaments don't allow you to switch races in the middle of a series. So good on her for doing that. I thought that really.
Energized the boys.
MLG was limping along at that point in time, so that really helped sort of breathe some life back into the tournament at that point in time.
Yeah, definitely energized the place. I think the whole crowds were chanting Scarlet after that. But unfortunately, she got taken out in the semifinals. And Trap just played really well, guys. Like
That was an amazing trap play. Did you see when he was down so much, and then he made one DT, and you sent him to each base?
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
that was
I'm
really
done.
sick. It was really. I thought it was cool, man. I
Dude,
thought
I'm done for
I
sure.
mean, Scarlet didn't
I'm not
defend
gonna say
against
anymore.
it.
it's so hard.
Dude, he was
but,
losing.
No,
He
we're
was
not talking
losing
about
her.
the games. You never lose when you're Protoss dog. I'm sorry.
Oh, my
Oh
God.
man, I'm so fucking salty. Holy fuck.
Oh, seriously, man.
Seriously. Fuck.
But Trap played well this weekend. I mean, in the finals, I mean, he ended up being pulled in two series too. So
Sure did.
kudos to him. I know a lot of people were like really pissed that nobody was saying anything about Trap's play. So gotta at least have to give him some kudos on this show. For
I agree.
Was it
playing
good
really
to be
well.
back, Stephen? Was it good to be
It was
back at a
great.
premier event?
Remember at the end of Wings of Liberty when people were always praising Zergs for using Broodlord and Fester? I mean, if people were so happy then, why aren't they praising Protosses now for winning? I don't know. It's so weird, huh?
My God, this is crazy high.
I'm loving it, dude.
Cody,
knew
what
this
do you
would
think
happen
about
as well.
Trap's play, Cody?
I thought it was good. Mind you, I've been playing maybe one StarCraft game a month since maybe sometime last year, but I thought it was okay. Yeah, I thought Scarlet was going to win that last game.
Yeah, I did too.
Big Violet and Polt though in that winners final, man. Andrew Tomlinson holding it down. King of StarCraft right now. The premier StarCraft agent. He's your agent too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fuck, man.
Good guy for sure.
And he's handling all his visa issues, man. So, and no one else in the entire world is handling their visa issues, man. So he's a god of esports right now.
Yeah,
look at all these Look at Richard laughing here. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. He did get a lot of shit in the first,
Violet.
originally for it, but now obviously it's looking back on it. I think his players are pretty happy at this point. But okay, let's talk about Smash. Call of Duty.
In terms of the actual format, what the fuck? I was surprised when there were best of 3 semifinals, but best of 3 finals.
Sure.
Holy,
Yeah.
could you feel how much they wanted us to get the fuck out? It was like 6:30, and like your mom is calling you, like, hey, like the sun is set, you need to come home right the fuck now, or you're grounded. Holy shit, those finals ended at like
Oh my
it was like 7:30, I think. It was so early. Like I went outside, it was still like midday. It was like the sun was out. The bank was still open. I could get all my tax shit done. Like,
MLG
what the
finals
fuck?
always end pretty early on Sunday. You don't remember because they dropped StarCraft last year, so it's been a while since you've been to one. But yeah,
I
even
mean,
in
I was at
Columbus, they ended
Providence.
it.
I don't. Did they end that? At the very least, I know they were at least best of 7s. I mean, the finals have always from
You think an
everything that I
extended
remember.
series or what, man?
I don't. Yeah,
No,
it's an
no.
extended series, man, isn't it? So it's like
I remember
maybe it's a
best of
best of
7
5?
MLG finals. I can't be that crazy. I know I remember best of 7 MLG finals. I've never heard of a best of 3 MLG finals for StarCraft 2 ever. Am I crazy? Maybe Chad can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember best of 3
it's just
finals
been
for
so
StarCraft 2.
long. It's been so long, you know.
Best of 3? Actually, I'm trying to remember too. I don't remember. Best of 7 doesn't really. I'm thinking best of 5 more than.
I
don't
think
know.
it
I don't
might
know.
have
It
been
did seem
2
short.
best of
Maybe
5.
Maybe it was
Sure.
best
but-
of 7 if it was extended series, and then best of 5s otherwise, but never best of
Yeah.
3s.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the end was pretty short and happened pretty quickly, but no, still I think again Trap ended up playing really well in the finals, but the StarCraft event overall, I mean, I guess we can go into the bad now. Let's talk about production. So
I mean,
think...
we really stretched out the good as
I'm trying,
much as
dude.
we could.
I'm trying.
I sympathize with you, like I really do. But come the fuck on. It's just not a lot to talk about in that area, is there?
Okay, well, actually, before we get into production, did any of you guys watch the Call of Duty and the Smash portion? Really close.
I watched a little bit of the winners finals for Call of Duty, which was Optic versus EG, and then a little bit of the finals for Optic versus EG. And that game is wild, man. They have like some capture the flag thing, and then like a Counter-Strike
Yeah.
clone called Search and Destroy, but like you typically just kill each other before you ever plant the bomb.
That's pretty true.
And but that was definitely, from my understanding, like the most hyped event there.
It was
and
the main
MLG's been
stage,
pushing
right?
Call of Duty
was on the main
super hard.
stage, right?
I have no idea. But MLG's definitely
Call of Duty
pushing.
is MLG's like baby. That's
Yeah,
like
it's
their
definitely their
CL.
bread and
That's
butter
like a
right
Zubu
now.
CLG or whatever, or like fucking like that's like their child. Like if MLG ever lost everything that they had with Call of Duty, who's that one guy? Oh fuck, what's his name? Is his name Optic or is that the name of the team?
That's the name
It's
of
the
the
name
team.
of the team.
There's
Shot.
Yeah, Nade Shot.
Oh,
My
God,
fucking
Nade
god!
Shot's
Like that dude's popularity is like unfucking believable. How much money he makes for fucking MLG? It's insanity. Call of Duty is literally like MLG's child. Like if they lost that, I think Sundance would like publicly commit suicide or something. So yeah, it's not surprising that they would dedicate like the
It
majority of
seemed
their
very
resources. to
popular
it.
though at their event. Adam Apicella tweeted that Call of Duty at Anaheim, or not tweeted. He talked to Slasher and said that it broke attendance records. Like that game
Anaheim did?
alone.
How big was this? How big was the stage for it, Steven? Like, was it the center and?
I think the way that they arranged it was unlike previous ones, and that they did it like vertically instead of horizontally. If that makes any sense, or it might be
They had
crazy.
bleachers. They had bleachers. Yeah, that's sort of a relic of. MLG.
I don't feel like this would have broken the attendance records. Maybe I'm remembering the previous Anaheims wrong, but the previous Anaheim I thought was fucking huge.
It's
like
for
there
Call
was
of Duty specifically. The quote is, Call of Duty had the highest single game attendance of any game we've operated at an MLG event. And this is from Rod on the 20th. And then he said last year, he had a quote from last year that said there were 21,000 attendees at last year's Anaheim, and then I did some research, and I think there were 24,000 for BlizzCon last year, according to BlizzCon's Wikipedia, just to kind of put that in perspective. I think it was definitely the biggest game there, but like MLG has been, that's been their thing. They ran it at the X Games. It's definitely sort of the focus of their stream platform.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have a hard time believing that Call of Duty had more people this time than what was at StarCraft events in the past Anaheims. Maybe there were just not enough chairs at the past Anaheims or something like that, or maybe I didn't look at the Call of Duty audience close enough this time, but I don't know, I felt like this MLG was pretty contained compared to the last Anaheims that I've been to. But I mean, I don't know. I guess that's the benefit of when all your numbers are private, you can make up whatever you want, so I don't know. Have you guys been, did anybody go to this Anaheim that was at a previous one?
I didn't. It was the first.
I have
MLG
a
actually
really
had-
hard time. I have a really hard time believing that there were more Call of Duty people here on this one than there were StarCraft fans in Anaheim before. But I mean, I
That'd
could
be
be wrong.
surprising. That would definitely be surprising, but
Yeah, Anaheim 2011. There were so many fucking people. I remember the fucking line to get like a fucking pass. Like went out the door of the convention center, like all the way almost out to the fucking street. Like 2011 was crazy. But I don't know. Okay, that's all I got.
how about Smash? You guys watch Smash?
I did not watch Smash. I haven't been
watched a
swept
little
up
bit.
in the Smash hype yet.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I thought-
either. I tried to watch it. I
thought it was fucking awesome. You guys
I
were
thought
all
the
shit-talking
documentary-
me in chat.
the
I thought-
documentary is awesome.
I thought the documentary was awesome, but I just haven't. I don't know. I've
I
never
haven't played
it,
a
so
lot of
I-
Smash either,
Yeah.
so that's probably the main thing.
Watching that Mewtwo and the Mango dudes play that game, I think it's crazy that a game that's like fucking, what is Smash, like literally like 15 years old? How old
It's
is
got to
that game?
be old as dirt. Yeah,
It's
because
15
they
years
don't
old.
even play on the most recent version. Melee came out before Brawl.
Yeah, no, yeah. And they haul around the fucking
They're
the
playing on
CRT
N64.
Yeah, they
What
haul
are they
around
playing on
the
it?
old TVs or whatever to like play a
Escape.
game on.
We hosted a Smash tournament in the fucking LAN center I used to work in years ago, and I think it was the version that was on the GameCube, I think. And that was fucking surreal, man, because everyone else was playing slightly more modern stuff, you know. But like, you're right, people.
What platform are they
people-
playing on?
What's that?
What platform were they playing on in MLG?
Oh,
What do you mean by
don't-
platform?
Like, what were they
Yeah.
playing on? Like, what system?
They were just sitting on
I don't know.
on a Nintendo. Isn't it a 64?
Is it a GameCube?
It's a
Or a
Is it a
GameCube?
GameCube?
Whatever. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think
Oh my
Smash
God.
64 was the 64 version.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So,
so
yeah,
they're playing Melee, and that was on GameCube.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Wow.
like, I couldn't believe it when we set it up, man. We had to bring out all these like old TVs and shit. But I mean, there was a bunch of stuff there. Like we had the original Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo and all sorts of shit. But it was fucking funny watching them set it up, dude. Like, I mean, fucking GameCubes, seriously. But yeah, it's a lore into itself, that thing. I can't really get into the game, but that documentary was cool. So let's all talk about it. You know?
That documentary, no, it's chill. It was apparently done at the event. It was done on Wii on the emulator, but it was originally a GameCube game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's talk about production.
Well, hang on, no. Before we
Oh.
go to the prediction, if we're gonna talk about the Smash thing, don't we need to talk
Okay.
about our fucking? Hang on, I got my fucking. I'll get my iPad out again. The
I,
fucking.
the links in the show notes too.
Yeah, the deep joy that this guy went through. I mean, it sounded like it was an absolute
This-
clusterfuck. So
The solid
Solid-
Jake thing?
Yeah.
Solid Jake posted saying that the Smash tournament was an absolute fuck up. I mean, this is the thing, because we're filthy casuals. And,
Whoa, what?
we may let we're just gonna look at the flashing lights and the pretty colors and say, hey, ain't Smash grand, and maybe let MLG off the hook a little. So I'm gonna try and represent Solid Jake and his apology and whatnot here.
We're
Just
doing
to
readings now. Jeez.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just to sort of read it out to you guys for
readings.
maybe people who missed it. Basically said, I wanted to reach out to be completely transparent as to why day one had so many issues. I can tell you right now, it was by far the worst day I have been since I started working events back in 2010. And I'm both frustrated and sorry that our community has had such a rough return to MLG. The first thing he talks about is how their bracket software, their tournament software broke, and they had to recode it totally by themselves, which delayed the whole tournament. Then the fire alarm got pulled twice, and that caused obviously venue-related problems. Then a SWAT team turned up because someone had called in a bomb threat.
Sorry.
Then they had to
Crazy.
rerun fiber cables into the venue because the internet was fucked. But yeah, and then there was all sorts of stuff like there was like loads of players who were disqualified, you know, from their round one matches because of all the problems that had happened, but they actually retracted them. So it sounds like the Smash tournament, I mean, you know, perhaps this is just typical MLG now, and this is like the standard that we need to expect for any tournament that they run. But it sounds like Smash was especially chaotic and horrible, like just an awful tournament. You know, obviously I've been going to tournaments for best part of a decade, lands all around. I've seen some absolute stinkers. I've seen ones that have been cancelled partway through and had to be played online. I've seen, in fact, I went to an event once where we got there and the people who were hosting the venue went, no one's booked this venue, and it was all a scam. And the guy hadn't booked the venue. There was no tournament. That was Euro CSS for anyone who remembers that. But yeah, this sounds pretty fucking awful. Like if I'd gone to this, it sounds like it's the kind of tournament that would have ranked in my top 3 shittest tournaments of all time. And obviously I wasn't there, so maybe I can't speak. But I mean, come on, a fucking SWAT team turning up. You know?
I actually didn't see the SWAT team. I was there for a decent while.
I mean, the SWAT team isn't. It's not like it's their fault. I mean, somebody calls in a bomb threat.
also,
gotta
why are
swat
people
it up,
blaming this
man.
on Smash? How you have no way of knowing? This sounds like Call of Duty behavior. Swatting people is like more common in the FPS.
Oh my
No,
God.
I'm not
Oh my
joking. I'm
God.
not joking. I'm not joking. Swatting is way more.
I think
relevant to
Solid
the
Jake is
FPS
just
community than.
he's probably so close to the community that his you know, like who's gonna write this for StarCraft? You know what I mean? Like, are they gonna ask Day9 to write a post like this for StarCraft? He's not gonna do that. So I think Solid Jake, because he's just a Smash player and he's super hyped on the community, I think he did this. I didn't think he was saying this was all Smash. I think he was like, this is why it affected
Everything.
Smash.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
more likely.
Yeah, but I mean, still, you know, I mean, people can say, oh, well, you know, it's not their fault. I mean, fair enough. I guess the fire alarm thing going off, you probably have a modicum of control over. Your tournament software breaking, and you know,
well, that's the one thing that they did have control over, which is
but I mean,
Yeah,
again,
that was pretty. Not only is that really fucked, but they wouldn't say anything. They kept saying they were having network issues, so they would like send people away for like 2 hours, and then they would start the games immediately after when everything was fixed, and then people were getting DQ'd and shit. I almost got disqualified in some of my games because of that.
I've seen similar things at multiplayer events in the UK. They use their own tournament software as well. The name of it temporarily escapes me, but it's got lots of problems. And they've coded it and spent a load of money on coding it from the ground up. And the reality is, more often than not, it certainly might not be the case now, but for anyone who was there in the glory days, a pen and a piece of paper would have been a far better solution, far easier, and would have led to, you know, smooth running tournaments as opposed to ones with lots of delays. And the idea that, you know, you wake up the day of a tournament, just log in and see what it's, it's broken. You know, like, come the fuck on. You know, MLG are meant to be experienced people running this. There's absolutely no way on God's green earth that should be happening. And then the explanation that they've got to recode it from the ground up, I guess that's an exaggeration. Because what does it say about the software if you can recode it from the ground up in less than a day? But yeah, I mean, it just sounds like it was a clusterfuck of disorganization. And again, there's loads of things that can be avoided there.
Yeah, the software breaking is a problem. The reason why they couldn't just go the pen and paper route is because their software is integrated at all levels of what they do. So like the software, like when people win, like that feeds into the bracket system that's automatically updating on the website and whatnot. So I'm sure that the manual entering of those champions would be a lot more difficult. And that's why they couldn't just go pen and paper. But...
I get that, but I mean, for me, ultimately, when you get to a situation where you're like that, and the tournament's, you know, going to run over, might have to cancel elements of it, you know, or people are going to have a bad experience. We're going to have to rush people through their matches. I'm less worried about, you know, people getting access to the results on the internet. Bearing in mind, you've got press there reporting on what's happening anyway. You know, the player and competitor experience sort of needs to be paramount. And it definitely didn't come across like that was the case. I mean, again, obviously, I didn't go. We did have a staff member go. We had a journalist there, a young lad called Joe, who was doing his first event for us, and you know, he kind of fed back some of the things that happened. I think he had a good time overall, but seriously, like MLG, this sounded like probably is one of the worst events they've run. And if we think about some of their previous, that's quite a damning indictment.
Well, let's talk
Steven,
about...
were you at Dallas 2011? Where does this compare to Dallas 2011? That was the last, like, Chicken Little the Sky is Falling MLG event. That was the one where the internet was just horrible, with and then the satellite trucks needed to be called in. And
oh, yeah. Everybody was like, you can't compare anything in 2011 to anything because we were all, like, drunk as fuck on esports, and the sky was literally not even the limit in terms of where we were going. So I didn't even think people were people even that mad over the shit of 2011? I know we were all complaining about MLG and shit, but maybe I was too drunk at too many Twitch parties that tournament. I don't remember. 2011 Dallas only seems like good memories to me. I don't remember any bad shit. The biggest problem that I remember from Dallas 2011 was people complaining about how forgiving the seeding system was in, and how like In Control could go like 0 and like 12 and still be like finishing like second place in the tournament.
Was that 2011 or 2010?
Nah,
that was
Dallas
2010.
No. StarCraft was released in 2010 with the beta coming out in 2000, maybe even 2010. 2011 Dallas was the first event of the year, so I think that was actually the one where In Control got
fourth.
Oh,
Fourth.
Maybe then. I don't remember. I don't remember which Dallas I went. I might have been at Dallas 2012 then. I don't remember. This is a long time ago, Doug.
It was moons ago.
No, I watched this shit. The Naniwa Kibikaki finals. I remember those. I watched that.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were at home.
No, I was there. Fuck you.
Okay.
I remember.
there?
I watched them. I remember watching these. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess a comparison isn't apt. It's a different MLG than MLG Anaheim's in the past have been, for sure. Especially the last 2 years, which have been some of my favorite events.
Anaheim was meant to be the jewel in the MLG crown.
Yeah, it's supposed
true.
to be the spotlight event.
Yeah,
of the year.
if that's the case, then I mean, seriously, you can't be happy with how this has panned out.
The contextualization of the event is so much different than like all the other previous. Like honestly, like the context that this Anaheim falls in is so much different than any other StarCraft 2. Like the environment has changed so much for where StarCraft falls right now on like a global esports scale versus all the previous ones. So I mean, even if this event would have ran the same as before, it still would have felt a little bit different. So you've got to take in mind, not only did this event fail like in some like objective measures, subjectively it also feels a lot different than previous ones too, you know?
I mean,
Yeah.
let's just talk about the experience from home. I mean, even like from the StarCraft
What
standpoint. No, yeah, right. So
I heard, did you guys hear that Jaedong played at this tournament? Did you know that? Because you didn't see any of his matches. They didn't cast any of his bracket.
No open,
Yeah.
Oh
bracket.
my fucking god. Community has even approached MLG for it. Wow. That's like,
Gotta-
I don't even know what to say about
Community
that.
casting's got to be hard though, because I presume if you're casting the event, you have to be on MLG TV, right? And how many community casters are on MLG TV? 0.
I mean,
So-
they could have made like a community caster stream, like even set up one called like MLGB stream and given them the login info to cast on that day or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, they might have been able to do that, but I mean, let's talk about even the quality of just the lighting and the sound from even Alpha and Bravo. Bravo looked like they were in a closet
casting by
I mean,
candlelight. Yeah.
seriously, I was like, what's going on?
The 2011 highlights they were running in the downtime when fucking Jaedong matches
Yeah.
were being played. Oh my
Well,
god,
that's true. That was
why?
happening too.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
were definitely that was another thing that made kids go nuts when there were like great games being cast or like great games being played that were like being played in like just the generic player pool, like the open bracket stage, and they were doing like games like yeah, it was just nuts.
No, it's definitely crazy. And I'm wondering, did they just skimp on the, just from a production standpoint?
Yes,
I mean, that's Good
inarguably
question.
yes. I was kind of a dickhead Saturday, and I tweeted like a picture in a horrible resolution from like an event last year compared to an event this year. I was also a dickhead and retweeted Adam Apicella from like a year and a half ago when he said he'd never ever have casters on a stage at an MLG. It's just objectively worse. The production was worse than years before, and they had to have spent less on it. Like now that that's said, I think the reason is their focus has to be MLG TV right now, right? So they're like profitable for the first time after MLG's launch. They've always been very transparent that like these tournaments just don't make money. So I think like they were probably just like, fuck man, let's save a couple bucks and just not spend as much. But yes, I think it'd be impossible to argue that the production was at any way comparable to where it has been in years past.
yeah.
It was a desk
it
in
was-
front of a curtain. That was the backdrop for the that's where you cast.
I mean, I'm not.
Curtain
To
that was
be
half
honest, I'm
open
not
half the
really.
time.
I don't really care so much about like the budget cutting. Like that doesn't bother me. They want to put the casters on stage on that shit. That's fine. I mean, like if you want to save money or whatever. Like I mean, I understand that. It was just like. I mean, coming into this, I don't know if people realize it or not, but the only reason StarCraft is here is because Dota 2 couldn't be here because of the way that the international was announced. There was no way that anybody good is going to spend the money to send their team to MLG and then also send them to the international coming up. Like so with Dota 2 being cut, StarCraft 2 is just kind of here in like a really awkward spot. And like, oh fuck it, we'll do a StarCraft 2 event, and it's more or less the only reason StarCraft 2 is here. That's okay if it didn't feel like that, and that's kind of what it felt like. Like. Sure, like you don't want to have like the big fancy stage and all that shit. That's fine, but like a community stream, that's not money that you have to spend. Like that, I mean, if anything, that would make you a little bit of money. You're gonna run fucking commercials or whatever. Like it's not a huge deal if you put like a little bit of time. You get one guy to like start casting community streams, doing like pool play games. Like fucking like honest to God, like what the fuck is the point of pool play if you're not gonna cast the games? Like if you're not gonna do pool play, you might as well just make them online qualifiers. Like there's zero point in having pool play at a tournament if you're not gonna cast any of the games from the open bracket. Like, or did I say? I'm sorry. I think I
Yeah,
mentioned
you
pool
want
play.
those
Sorry.
reverse. Yeah.
Wow, I reversed that. Sorry. There's no point in having an open bracket if you're not going to cast any games from it. At that point, you might as well just do an online qualifier. It's beyond mind-bogglingly silly to have an open bracket and then to run like 2011 highlights on the stream while amazing games are going on in the open bracket. That's like absolutely mind-boggling to me. I don't know. Yeah, it just had the feeling. Like I said, I don't care about like the budget cuts and whatnot. Like that's fine if you want to save money, but they just had the big like fuck off feeling of like, oh well, we're running this event, like be grateful that we're running it, and suck my dick. And then that was like the feeling that you got.
Yeah, that's one thing that's important. Like I wasn't there, so I don't know what the atmosphere on the floor was like. But if we're gonna tear ESGN asunder for spending a shit ton of money that they don't have, and these events have always lost MLG money. I think it's important that we're honest and say like, hey man, this is actually just not as good as it was in years before. But it's worth noting that like, yo man, like it'd be the first time in a long time that MLG has not pissed away money foolishly on these events. So good for them, I guess, in that regard. But if it, it did kind of have the feeling like this wasn't thought out super well, and fucking Steven's SWAT team's calling Steven. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I told him to fuck off. Don't worry.
No, I mean they've done StarCraft so many times in the past, so you think this would be like super easy. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if they cut budget.
If you gave a fuck.
I guess.
The B stream was nuts, man. Like that was just so weird. What
It
was
was,
the?
let's be honest, it was like new material in some of those cases. Like it was kind of crazy seeing those casters cast like that. Pretty weird seeing Day 9 cast in the dark, man.
Yes, that was bizarre. That was certainly.
I didn't see that. Or
You
hear
should have
about
seen
that.
it. It was literally
well-
like candlelight, and
Yes, exactly.
sometimes.
I imagine that could work. You know.
Okay.
Imagine.
Starcraft by candlelight. You know, with Day 9. I can see how that would work. It was
Could
probably
have turned the
deliberate.
mics way down.
Yeah, exactly. And
Just hit a gentle cast.
Yeah, exactly.
Have him go with the Barry White tone or something. Yeah. It could have been interesting. It would have been more interesting, I guess. But I don't know. Overall,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I would be willing to bet money and almost give odds that this is going to be the last StarCraft 2 event they'll do in a long time. I'd be really
Put that in a
surprised.
Reddit post, man. From the event floor, you were that convinced and
did?
upset by the surroundings you were in that you put it in a Reddit post. I could see that too.
Wait, did I say that in a Reddit post?
Yeah, you did.
Which
I
one?
linked it somewhere in the show notes. Well, I didn't link it in the show notes, but somewhere in our group chat.
I said implying. Oh, I think I said implying MLG does another StarCraft 2 event.
yeah.
And I didn't. Well, I thought you were trying to be an asshole, but I think
was.
you were right. I think you were right.
Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't just talking shit. Yeah, I seriously doubt they're gonna. do another one.
Why would they do it? StarCraft has always just been a huge pain in the ass for MLG. MLG's just even when like MLG and StarCraft were best friends, the community was always really rough for them. It looks like
to
they're
be
trying
fair,
to spend.
that's because MLG's PR was literally like autism tier. Like, could be diagnosed with having like clinical AIDS of the brain and how they would like relate to the
Is
community.
AIDS of the
Like,
brain a thing?
Yeah, that's where you've lost so many brain cells that you think you can make a statement like, "Hey, people that have paid for shit, you don't get anything anymore." Like, you can make a statement like that and not like have any kind of negative fallback. That in order to do that, I think you have to have like.
I
AIDS of
thought
the-
brain AIDS only affected cats. I don't mean the player. I mean. The species.
Oh, Richard.
What? No.
I got into a big fight a while ago about that shit because I didn't think that was a real thing, and I think it's the
What?
dumbest
AIDS
thing.
and animals.
Yeah, no, it's called feline AIDS.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually
your cat
feline
ate
HIV. It's not feline AIDS. I don't know why the fuck they would mix those two words up when they're very loosely related. Like, but never mind. I answered. That was like totally random. Never mind. I'm really surprised that even came up here. All right.
Yeah,
sorry,
I
what
don't
were-
think they'll run StarCraft again.
Yeah,
I get the-
I doubt it.
I mean,
I want
MLG
to. No,
had-
I want to talk some more about Steven's veterinarian experience. Like, I seriously.
Let Cody finish his thing. Go.
Yeah. Sorry.
If I
Cody.
were them,
We are coming back to
it seems like MLG TV is really their big push. They're doing production at the X Games, and that seemed to go wellish. But we didn't cover X Games super well, but there were some audio issues there that really got people wound up. But otherwise, it seemed decent enough. And then I think they're responsible for producing the Call of Duty World Championships. Like, I think they continue to do the shows they do. I think they keep running their streaming platform, and they keep producing events for other people, right? So they're getting money for producing events for other people instead of spending a $1 billion of their own bucks to produce these events that just get torn asunder by the community anyway and just get shit on. So I'd be, I wouldn't be surprised if StarCraft disappeared at all.
So
after
are we
this.
talking about StarCraft or are we talking about MLG's period?
I
mean,
think
like
MLG is gonna
they're
keep working with console games. I think they'll keep working with console games.
they're already running less events than they used to. Remember when there were 4 MLGs a year? So I don't think it's like that ludicrous a suggestion. I have no idea whether it's true or not, but like they've always said these things are super expensive and impossible to make a profit on, and they've said that the streaming is making them money. So
It might be hard for them to make profit on, but I don't think MLG can lose their live events completely. I think I think that's like become like intrinsic of what MLG is. If they were to cut live events completely, I think that would hurt them on the streaming side.
you know
you
MLG.
have to look at it like kind of like a lawsuit, or like what Red Bull does. Like Red Bull doesn't make money on like a guy jumping from the atmosphere onto the earth, right? Like that's not like a profitable one for them. But they're so known for like those kinds of marketing events and whatnot that it does drive like attention to the main brand of their product, the Red Bull sports drink.
Look, we all know what's in future for MLG. It's been on the cards for a long time. And that is, they are destined to become the new CPL, which is they're gonna, take money in exchange to run tournaments for games that have no relevance. And they'll put on a live show, and it'll be more like an expo than a tournament. They've shown increasingly that they're disinterested in tournaments. They're disinterested in a lot of the communities. And beyond COD, Call of Duty, I don't think they do particularly a lot to engage with many of the other communities anymore. I think pretty soon it will just be an expo in all but name, like Angry Birds tournaments, whoever's the fucking highest bidder is. And that's kind of going to be MLG. I really see it going that way because, I've been a massive fan of MLG. They used to do things amazingly, but I don't think they really give too much of a shit anymore. I think the pride's gone, and I think that tells from the end product. So yeah, I think they'll end up kind of like what CPL was at the end, and that's not a bad thing. They'll make money off that. They'll run a business.
Sundance wasn't there. Sundance didn't give his typical impassioned speech at the beginning.
He's been pushed into the background, hasn't he? So, it's a different company now. The MLG that we've got now is a different company to how it was.
It's like what Cody was saying, though. They're trying to make money now. So,
yeah, but that's fine.
This isn't trying to make money. They just have a new way to do it now than they have in the past.
When they, there's a very obvious way to make money. And that is to go to every game publisher and game developer and say, if you pay us money, we'll push your game as if it's relevant.
Yeah, but that can be like that's really, really hard to do. I think that's
not when you've got MLG's reputation. People have been knocking on. I'm sure
for MLG's. There's only been one game in the history of all of MLG's thing that's offered to pay money for it to be at an event, and that was $200,000 from Riot for League of Legends. No other game has offered them money except for maybe
Infinite Crisis. They didn't.
No, but I'm talking about. I'm talking about games that.
Infinite.
Yeah, they can shoehorn into some sort of.
Those are like those are.
There will be.
We're talking about staged games, not like
the
Infinite Crisis and PlanetSide booths, which are obvious. I mean, they pay for some sort of endorsement or to like have a booth there.
But that's what I mean. But there's loads of publishers and developers that would like that sort of endorsement and boost, and I'm sure would throw a large part of their marketing budget. Yeah, absolutely. Well, put it this way.
They couldn't even get World of Tanks. They couldn't even wrestle World of Tanks away from NASL. I mean, I don't know if they're about. I mean, and World of Tanks pays like a stupid amount of money if you can meet their crazy standards for like hosting games. Like, I mean, I can't see who else is about to pay.
What would you rather do, Stephen? And I know maybe you're a little biased because you're going to organise your own tournament soon. But what would you rather do? Would you rather have, like, I don't know, multiple day nines by candlelight and probably make a loss on them? Or would you rather just go to some company that's made a piece of shit game that no one's going to play and they've got their first marketing budget to blow and they're like, we'll pay you $100,000 just to run a tournament for us and pimp it out?
I mean, I would rather do that. I'm just saying, I don't think it exists. I don't think that opportunity to collect an easy six-figure from a company to do like a shitty game. I don't know if those opportunities exist.
My company have a media does something not dissimilar. Trust me, that the money's there, dude. It's real.
I think eventually though your reputation will. The reputation is still high about just as a event organizer and that sort of thing. But I think it will wane if you keep doing that.
But yeah, I mean, maybe if it does, then yeah, I mean, I could definitely see them do it if they're able to. Sure.
What did you guys think about the player, or Cody? What did you think about the actual MLG player? And
it is the player itself. I didn't notice any. The volume knob is like a little difficult to get precisely where you want, and the limited amount of ads they were showing throughout the weekend got a little obnoxious after a certain.
Oh my god, I'm so not buying
number of minutes. But otherwise, I didn't notice a tremendous difference. You had to sit through a pre-roll every single time you switched, right? Which was like pretty frequently.
I thought they got rid of that. I thought I read a Reddit post saying thank you for getting rid of that MLG.
Not when I was watching.
Nah. I knew some. I was talking to some Euros, and some Euros are able to get around like the ad block, I think, which delighted them after, however many number of Pizza Hut ads it took before they decided to try ad blocking again. I was tempted to do the unthinkable and kill MLG's business though, because those ads were just so brutal, just so absolutely brutal. But I imagine my friends out on the street hungry.
is the same Blake Shelton Pizza Hut commercial.
There's two.
Over
There's two, and then there was a
and
Planet
over.
Side ad. And
I
there
saw
was
that. I saw that commercial one time out of
There
like
was
100.
another one too that I heard, and it was like, it was like being lost in the desert, and you have like a hallucination. You have no idea if the water's real. I was like, is this really another ad? Is this real? And I had to like look and find where the audio was, what tab it was in, and shit. You know, it was fucking. It was a lot of the same commercial, man. Where one of the tournaments was like actually like had like Pizza Hut branding in it though, like those. Was it Call of Duty? Because it wasn't just like the ad. Like there was some other event tied in thing somewhere. I swear to God, I saw it in like one of the desks. I think it must have been Call of Duty.
Well,
but I don't know.
all right.
But variety is the spice of life. And Jesus Christ, after that weekend, I was so over Pizza Hut and the guy singing about cheddar like everyone's spamming in chat right now. Yeah, it was just absolutely nuts.
Okay, well, MLG, we'll see what happens the remainder of the year.
Do they have another event announced? I'm not sure if they have another event announced for the.
Don't, but they typically don't announce them. Well, at least last year they didn't really announce them until sometime after each one, right? Did they announce a full
I don't know.
schedule?
I remember when they used to be announced like a year. You'd know the entire year in advance and stuff, but. No,
yeah.
I don't know. They're doing something with Microsoft at Comic-Con or something. I don't know. I saw Sundance tweeting about that. On the bright side, huge viewership growth in StarCraft between MLG Columbus last year and Anaheim this year. So hats off, guys. You guys did it. You're back.
Really?
There wasn't Shanny. Come on, man. You're making this too easy. There was no StarCraft at Columbus last year. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's move on. Let's talk about Steven, your event that you're planning here. I know you're still brainstorming some things, but
is this retaliation for?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to ask.
Slighted?
Yeah, is this a product of being at MLG, or is this something that you wanted to do for a while now?
No, I've thought about it for a while. I saw Dragon announce his again, and I was like, I wonder if I could make some dirty esports money doing this. So that's pretty much it.
All right, so talk to us about
it's a twofold. The two major things are, one, it gets me more practice as a caster, which is something I've wanted to do, and two, it helps me grow my brand a little bit more. If I have a successful tournament, it makes me that much more cool, and brand value. Three, it can help me get more. If I do get those uniques and those followers, that bleaches over to all my other stuff, right? Like my affiliate links get more action, my field of sponsors get more action. And four, I can also use it on the side too. If I do the drafting from like the ladder and shit, it helps me so that when I go to ladder, I play less shitters. So that's all the personal stakes that I have in it.
Okay, so how are you going to pick the Korean
personal
players?
Stakes, though.
How are you going to pick the Korean players?
Honest to God, I'm probably just gonna ask people like, who do you think are like the best fucking Koreans right now, and then I'll just go to them. I'll get like a list of like 10 to 15, and I'll just send messages out and see. Like I'll probably look to Dragon's previous Dragon Invitational too. I mean, those guys are willing to pay for relatively low amounts of money. What he just did the Dragon Invitational 1 or 2? What did he just do?
He just did 2.
He just did 2?
Yeah, this is the second one.
So in 1, yeah, like if you look at 1, he's got Innovation, Bomber.
He's got the best players.
Stardust, yeah, Revival, Hyun. Like he's getting pretty good players for a relatively low amount of money, only $2,000. So I mean, I'm hoping that I should be able to get that caliber player. If
the
not
big
better,
question is, are you
going to
cast like him? I mean, that's the most entertaining part about his invitation.
No, this is the first stream that I do is going to be very boring. And not boring, but it's going to be like a serious casting thing. It's not going to be like the jokester, bikini, dick jokes, and all that stuff. It'll be relatively serious.
So solo cast, or are you going to get a co-caster?
Right now I'm looking at, there'll be one co-caster for each day. That'll be paying $100 a day for a co-caster.
Yeah, I saw that. Shoot.
The list, I had a list of people out. I'm still waiting for word on some back. So far, I've confirmed In Controller is going to do it for one day. Chad Jones, I've got for one day. Todd, I've got for one day. And Nathanius, I've got for one day. So that's 4 people.
I'll do a day's casting.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
I also sent an invite out that I'm waiting back from Rotterdam. I asked Scarlett if she wanted to. I don't know if she'll respond or not.
That'd be funny.
And, yeah. Oh, and I asked Mr. Bitter, but he said no because he hates me and he's too busy at WCS. But
Red Bull.
yeah, rip.
Busy at Red Bull.
But yeah, I don't know. I'll look at some other people if I need to fill. But I mean, I've already got 4 of the 6 days covered, so.
Is this something you're gonna do pretty regularly, or?
I don't know, depending on how the first
one-off?
tournament goes. But there's like a lot of questions. Like, let's say this goes like really fucking well,
Mm-hmm.
and I end up hosting like a tournament that costs me 4,000, and I make like like 8 to 10,000 off of it. Do I just like pocket the 5,000 and then just do another one for 3,000? Should I like up the price? I don't know. There's like a lot of things that go into that. It'll really depend. I just want to do like one and just see what the finances of everything look like at the end. Like I think it was $800 is the base cost to run it. That's $100 a day for a co-caster plus $100 for artwork and $100 for a bilingual admin. And then I've got I think I want the prize pool to be. It'd be nice if I could get it to be around like $2,500 to $3,000 would be nice. But if I get it to be more, I get it to be more. And then from there, any more money I make on top of that is just cheese for me to take by my Watch Doge jacket or whatever. I mean, I guess future money would mean I could reinvest money in the future without having to work so hard to secure sponsors and shit. Yeah, I've still got to do that, reaching out for sponsors. I've already got there's like $1,000 to $4,000 kind of floating in the air from people who've contacted me willing to sponsor the event. But I've got to double check and make sure that I don't hate any of those people that the products I represent or any of that shit. So
Right. That's cool. Steven Saven Esports.
fuck off. No, it's completely. I'm doing this for me because I just want to make some money doing it. I'm saying I'm not doing it to save esports. Fuck you. I don't do that charity shit, dog. Oh, the one question I had to ask though, if I do need more capital outside of sponsors, do you know if Indiegogo or if Kickstarter is better for that kind of stuff?
Oh, you
Indiegogo.
want to use
Indiegogo.
yeah.
Indiegogo gives you the money no matter
Kickstarter,
what, right?
if you don't meet the goal, you don't get the money.
Yeah, well,
you don't want to get Lone Star clashed.
Yeah, but hang on, didn't Indiegogo change their terms of service recently as well? I remember I reading some guy fucking did a ridiculous scam.
If not
on it.
Indiegogo, there's another one too that you can use. That's
Yeah,
That's
it was the Pando thing. So
Gotcha.
they removed the line. They basically they changed. I mean, this is good for you, Stephen. But in people who invest in the whole Indiegogo thing, they just removed the line from their terms of service that said all campaigns and contributions go through a fraud review, which allows us to catch any and all cases of fraud. They just took
they
that
just
out.
removed that.
Oh shit!
Yeah, they just
So I need to
removed
message. So I need to message Froden and see if he still got those Sapinda connections. Maybe I can
Yeah,
get a lot of money from it.
I can hook you up with that, obviously. 'Cause I sold out hard, right? So,
There
but
we
yeah,
go.
they just pulled it out one day. Like one day it was there, one day it wasn't there, and it was all over. There was a fucking company. They basically got a Kickstarter on Indiegogo for a product that absolutely scientifically could not be possible. They got a fuck ton of money for it, and everyone was like, it's scientifically impossible. We want our money back. So Indiegogo's way of dealing with it was just to change retroactively the whole thing about investigating fraudulent activity. So my advice would be, while Indiegogo might be better for you, I wouldn't support a company that does the kind of thing and helps good, honest folk get bilked by fucking scamming retards. I'd go with Kickstarter, which of course that's never happened since the StarCraft, etc.
Well, speaking of Indiegogo, why don't we talk about Nation Wars? And going into Nation Wars here, if you guys can check out the link here. So I've been meaning to bring it up. We talked about Nation Wars, I think, when it first started, or at least the concept started.
Yeah, we did.
Can I wait? Just like a real fast thing, because I see TV in chat. I'm sorry, I didn't send you an invite because I know that you're busy dealing with like all of your like shit right now. That's the only reason I messaged you. It's not like a personal side against you. I don't know, just in case you thought that or not.
I'm just an ass,
Okay.
dude. That's all you are.
No, fuck you. All right.
All right, let's talk Nation Wars. And
Nation Wars.
So Nation Wars, we talked about when it was like just before it started. It was cool. There were all these different countries and people representing each country, and you can kind of see the Wikipedia post here. It's in the semifinals right now between Norway, Poland, Mexico, and France. 3 players representing each team. They kind of battle it out. It's been cool. Been an interesting event so far. I haven't really seen the matches, but I know a few people that have. It's pretty good. But anyways, what I wanted to bring up is the fact that they've been raising money through just crowdfunding, and look how much they've raised. They've raised 165,000 euro.
This is what I want to post for discussion. Yeah. Is this money real? Because I don't believe it. There's no fucking way, man. I just don't believe it. For exclusively a StarCraft 2 event that they were able to raise over 220,000 USD, I don't believe it. I can't. There's no fucking way. I just don't. That's what I got. What do you think?
Thoughts?
I've seen it steadily climb.
I was in the same boat as Stephen when I saw it in the show notes. I was just like, man, this sounds like a ludicrous amount of money, especially for an event that's gotten like as much attention as this has.
2 months.
You know what I mean? But you said you'd watched it steadily climb.
I've seen it climb. I mean, it.
So,
I mean, I remember when it was in the 5 digits,
but
I mean, we can see the donators. You said that one person donated like 40,000 or something like that.
Yeah, there was one 40,000
Yeah.
donator. There was one 3,000 euro donator. But I mean, Lone Star Clash 2 had League of Legends and StarCraft 2, and in 30 days it struggled to get $7,000.
But they executed
this has been running
that.
for 60 days. They executed it
They
what?
executed
poorly?
like
I mean,
shit,
how,
dude.
How,
Come on.
how much hype have you heard about Nation Wars 2? Like, in just looking at Reddit, I've seen it front page maybe like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 times. Like, hey, we need more money. Like, that's all I've ever seen about Nation Wars.
Yeah.
How the fuck did they get that? There's no way. Like, if Nation Wars is something, like, if I was like going on Twitter and every day I saw like fucking Total Biscuit and Day 9, like, guys, contribute to Nation Wars, blah, blah, blah. And it was like on Reddit, like, fucking like every single week, then like, yeah, maybe. But like 2 or 3 days is the most I've ever seen anything about like, oh, this tournament really needs money or whatever. And they've managed to raise to over 220,000 USD. There's no way. I mean, it's like really hard for me to believe. That's unfathomable in 2014 that a tournament doing only StarCraft 2 managed to raise that much money. That's like crazy to me. What's the WCS prize pool?
Total?
Yeah.
Isn't it like, I don't know, what is it? 250? Is that all right?
I don't know. It just seems. This just seems like a crazy amount of money.
It is a crazy amount of money, and what's funny is that the cash prize is only 20,000 euros, so 145,000 euros is going towards production.
In a 1,000 seat venue. Yeah.
Yeah, here's the venue right here, which is, it looks pretty cool though. The venue reminds me a little of the TI, just the theater type of thing. But yeah, so I don't know, but if it is, indeed legit, then kind of shows you that even for like a StarCraft 2 event, you can raise quite a bit of money. Not like TI money, but 165,000 euros is pretty amazing from a crowdsourcing type of thing.
Yeah, good for them for being entrepreneuring enough to like get this shit done while they're surrounded in fucking squalor as all these, major organizers just fucking shit the bed. So good for them.
Yeah, everybody's talking about you need shit in
presuming the money is
seriously,
real.
like, we're not going to talk about this like it's real, are we? Because that's
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
We're better than that.
Wait, what's fake about it?
Well, no, I mean, as in, like, what, you honestly think they've raised that money?
Someone going in 40K is nuts. I feel
The 140K guys.
Hey, people donating $10,000 to a streamer is nuts. Okay, so
yeah, you got Legendary Leia getting
yeah, and you can count
easy.
all the times that's happened. Probably is on like one hand. If you're from Kentucky, definitely one hand. There's no fucking way on God's green earth. Like, I'm not feeling it at all. I think it's bullshit. I think it's grade A bullshit.
I don't know. Apparently,
right down the middle.
like
I was with Steven where I just thought there was no fucking way. But ChanManV says he's seen this just climb up gradually.
Yeah, but I mean,
80,000 euros. 80,000 euros has come from ticket sales. So 80,000 euros from ticket sales plus the 40,000 euro donation brings it to 120. I mean, I guess maybe it's believable depending on how much the French scene is like pushing it.
it's not that crazy, but
nah.
Well,
Honestly,
I'm crazy, but
put it this way, right? Like, even if the event goes ahead, right? Bully for them if it does. Prize fund. Probably is good luck getting that. I can see me writing an article about that 6 months from now. I've just seen this shit too many times, and like the thing about esports is if it sounds too good to be true. I mean, this is a good rule of thumb to live your life by anyway. If it sounds too good to be true, it is, right? Like, don't buy the magic beans, guys, because they ain't fucking magic, all right? But the reality. And it's just like we all just buy into it. We just get that shudder of like, oh, maybe it's real this time, and we all just fucking let it pass. And it's never real. It's never been real. Not once has it been real. Like, if it stank of bullshit,
$10 million
from the start,
is real.
It was bullshit
it?
by the end. Yeah, but again, there's precedent for that. It's believable. That's being done through Valve. It's been, like, I can get on board with that. I can get on board with the CS:GO majors. It's all legit. Like, no, Valve aren't going to fucking, scam a bunch of people. You start something on a fucking Kickstarter. I mean, Jesus Christ, how many times are people going to get burned through this particular medium before people maybe take things with a grain of salt? I don't know. But look, I'd love to be wrong, right? There's nothing, contrary to popular belief, there's nothing I love more than to be wrong. Because more often than not, I'm fucking right. And it's boring being right. And this stinks. This fucking stinks to high heaven. Sorry, it just does.
all right. Well, we'll see if they prove you wrong or not. And again, I think it's wrapping up pretty soon. Again, it's in the semifinals. We'll see what happens. Overall, the concept I think is cool. You know, having players represent their countries and doing that whole bit.
I mean, like, we've obviously got one of the guys in the chat. Like, this fucking guy's going mad. This rubber duck motherfucker. He sounds like was he the guy who invested 40,000 in it? Like, did you get scammed by this esports pyramid scheme, friend? I want to know more about it. Like, because, you know, seriously, like, haven't we earned the right in esports to be fucking skeptical by now?
I think it's got the potential to be okay. If the precedent is Iron Squid and all those other tournaments, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
It's the Iron Squid casters. Okay, so this is.
And I love the Iron Squid guys, the casters and all the crew.
I'm just confused. I'm sorry. I must have been confused by the. So there's like half the people in chat are saying that 80K is from the amount they're listing is just like from ticket sales. Because that's like weird because you don't do that on. That's not part of like the contribution amount on every other, you know, like revenue we expect to get or revenue we've already expected to get. You don't add that to your Kickstarter or Indiegogo, right? So
wait, that's not necessarily true, is it? Isn't it actually super standard for people that are selling products or like things on Indiegogo where they'll say like, oh, for $100 we'll ship you one product of whatever? Like, isn't that like super standard?
No, yeah, that's standard.
Like, I mean, buying a ticket for this event, it would be like pre-ordering like a game, I guess. You know, for like, and I mean that's a valid business model. I mean, it has been over the past years.
I guess I don't know.
If you donate 120 or more,
you can upgrade.
You get a golden ticket, right? So like, if you do, even 50 doesn't get you a ticket. So if you donated 50 euros, this doesn't get you a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just controlled F tickets. So I'm just trying to figure out, because I've never used this before. This is obviously like, well, not obviously, but it looks like this is a European tailored version of Kickstarter Indiegogo. Is 80,000 euros of this like the contribution at the very top like ticket sales? I don't know where that's
what people are saying, that $80,000 of this is ticket sales.
Okay.
I mean, because if that's the case, then
it becomes more believable.
Yeah,
but
they just raised 65.
The reason I didn't think that happened because that doesn't tend to happen on the.
Yeah,
I mean, like in Lone Star Clash, for example, they when they were selling tickets, like they weren't like, hey, we're this much closer to our goal because we've sold this amount.
Well, maybe they should have.
Maybe they should have, man.
They would have had more than their 7,000 out of 40,000 in their Indiegogo.
Does 7,000? I'm not even sure 7,000 we even reach 7,000.
No, like I say, we'll definitely wait and see, man. Yeah. But I'm telling you, I'm just going out there now. I'll go out on a limb. Like there is more to that than fucking meets the eye. Because think about it. Think about the established companies. You know, think about people who've attempted to crowdsource StarCraft events in the past, and look how that's fucking ended. So yeah, I'm gonna call grade A bullshit on it, and I don't give a fuck if people think that makes me an asshole. You know, I've been around a while. I've seen it. Like people don't. I've seen it all. I've been invited to lands that don't exist. You know, I've seen even reputable Yeah, there was one called Sesquando. People won't remember this, back in 2006, and it claimed to have something huge, like $1 million across all games. Like this is back in, like, say, 2006 or so. And it was like Counter-Strike Source, Call of Duty 4, not even like Premier League esports titles. $1 million. And it was like, I don't know, it was run by some Mexican company or something. I
guess, but I mean, these guys have like a physical venue booked, and they're selling tickets to a physical venue. And
yeah, but again, I just said that's happened to me as well. And I'm not saying this will happen here.
We should do a gentleman's bet, $10 USD. For
a gentleman's bet is a drink, an alcoholic beverage of your choice.
I'm too much of an alcoholic to partake. I'm not going to do it. Right, then it'll be a non-gentleman's bet.
This will send him off the rails, man. He'd lose it.
Right, like I say, you know, when Euro CSS, prime example. Google it, man. They flew teams. It was the first ever Counter-Strike Source event that had teams from all over Europe come and play each other. All the top teams. First time it's ever happened. Everyone was like hyped. Like, oh my God. And it was held in Amiga sector in Harrow in the UK. And everyone turned up, and the venue turned around and said, no one's paid for this booking. Seriously. And it had been advertised for months. You know,
Wow,
and they
okay.
and there was a guy
That's
called
pretty crazy.
there was a guy called Tony
Oh my-
Oldfield, a good friend of mine called Gomez was his gamer name. We used to manage Zedboard together back in the day. Who got bought out by Ceratec. He had to pay on his credit card to hire the venue for that day, and he made the tournament happen. And it didn't even finish because we couldn't even afford enough time, and people were going to miss flights and shit. And we just all sort of chipped in and tried to make it work because we were so hyped about it being the first time. So I've seen ridiculous clusterfucks. But when you've seen so many of them, when you see something that's just shimmering in the fucking haze like an oasis, we've all been talking about how wouldn't it be great if something like this happened in StarCraft? And coupled with all the hype about crowdsourcing and all the hype about the international, then this just sort of, crops up, flourishes with unprecedented success. Bollocks. Not having that at all. And I think everyone's got the right to be skeptical. And wouldn't it be a pleasant surprise if the skeptics were wrong? Because that never happens in esports. That's all I'm saying.
$10. I'm ready.
All right, man.
I might jump in there too, man.
Well,
All right,
that's more than your stream donations for the last month, bro.
All right, let's take a quick break, guys. We'll be back with some World Esports Championships, some LoL Dota 2 news too.